Hello, this is Bob Thompson with Salt Lake County's Flood Control Engineering and Watershed Planning and Restoration Program. I'm here to present the information on the late March, early April 2026 snowpack, or lack thereof. So the good news is our water year has started out in decent shape, and most of that is because of the rain that we experienced last October. The water year begins on October 1st. Since October, our snowpack has really not accumulated like we would have chosen. The basins surrounding the Salt Lake Valley are all well below normal snowpack. And the unit that we're going to use to measure snowpack is called snow water equivalent. And that's approximately how much water exists in the snowpack. So we abbreviate that SWE, SWE. Looking at the individual stations that make up the basin numbers, starting off in the north end of the Salt Lake Valley, City Creek at Lewis Meadow, this site's at about 6,700 feet in elevation. It never really accumulated snow like we would have liked this winter, and the snow at this elevation has all melted off at this point. Now, we did receive some precipitation last night, April 2nd, and we do have more forecast for tomorrow, April 3rd. So we actually will see these numbers bump up just a bit, but we didn't see the 2 feet of accumulated snow that was potentially forecast. Moving further up Canyon and City Creek, our snowpack accumulated at better rates than it did at lower elevations, but it never really accumulated again like we would have chosen, and it's definitely in the melting phase. Moving further south into Parley's Creek at Parley's Summit, this one has also melted off. We did receive precipitation again, as I stated, but we will see this continue to melt as we're supposed to go back into a high pressure trend next week with more melt snow. Big Cottonwood at Mill D, approximately halfway up the canyon, mostly melted off as of April 1st. Big Cottonwood further up at Brighton is definitely in the melt phase. And Little Cottonwood at Snowbird, same as Big Cottonwood at Brighton. We are seeing that snow begin to melt. We did get 13 inches at Snowbird last night, and there's more forecast for today. So we will see a blip in this pattern, but I don't think it's going to change the pattern that we've been seeing for the last month. The good news about our snowpack is those rains in October left us with fairly moist soils. The shallow soils are near normal moisture content, and the deeper soils are a little bit above normal. So that's the last of the information that I have to provide with current conditions. So now we have to look into the crystal ball a little bit and try to figure out what's coming our way to figure out how the snow is going to melt. So the 7-day forecast shows precipitation throughout the state of Utah, and that's the storm that's hitting right now on April 2nd and April 3rd. After this storm hits, we're forecast to go back into a high pressure pattern and see more warm temperatures. So our 1-month precipitation forecast is looking about normal. Our seasonal precipitation forecast is leaning below normal. Our extended seasonal precipitation forecast is also leaning below normal. Our monthly temperature outlook is leaning above normal. Our seasonal temperature forecast is also leaning above normal, and our extended seasonal temperature forecast is leaning above normal. That said, we do have plenty of space in our reservoirs for any runoff that does accumulate, and we will try to fill those reservoirs. There's not going to be a ton of runoff this year, so hopefully we can get those mostly full. Utah Lake is in a little bit of a different scenario. Utah Lake is spilling water that they have to spill for irrigation needs. So we probably will not see compromise this year, and we will not see high flows coming out of Utah Lake through the Jordan River and into the Great Salt Lake. So our seasonal stream flow forecast for a regional planning perspective in the lower Jordan Basin, you can see right here, that's this basin. It's forecast to be about 65% of normal. And when we look at a more precise and canyon-specific runoff, we're looking at maybe a little bit less. 59% of normal is what the Colorado Basin River Forecast Center has forecast for Big Cottonwood Creek. They actually may be as low as 45 to 50% of normal. So we're expecting pretty limited runoff numbers coming out of our streams. And everyone seems to be curious about the drought. The Drought Monitor indicates that every square inch of the state of Utah is in some sort of drought, either a D1 through a D3. In the lower Jordan Basin, we're looking mostly at D1 and D2 conditions, and they are forecast to persist throughout the season. That's all I have to update for early April. Look for another update in mid-April. And a big thanks to our data partners, the Central Utah Water Conservancy District, NOAA, CBRFC, NRCS, Drought Monitor, the Utah Division of Water Resources, and the Western Regional Climate Center. Thank you.